Our Yorkshire Farm is a television series that followed the life of Amanda Owen and her family as they managed the challenges and beauty of the Yorkshire Dales. Known as the Yorkshire Shepherdess, Amanda juggled the immense task of running a 2,000-acre farm, raising 9 children, and looking after over 900 sheep and 30 cattle. Now, at the age of 50, Amanda has opened up about the reality behind the show, sharing the sacrifices, hardships, and behind-the-scenes truths that were not always visible to viewers. Her revelations provide deeper insight into the complexities of her life and the real reasons why the beloved show came to an end. The series introduced audiences to the Owen family's everyday life on their farm in the Yorkshire Dales. Premiering a few years ago, the Yorkshire Farm quickly became a hit, captivating viewers with its authentic and unvarnished look at rural life in the UK. It wasn't just about farming animals or working the land, it was about the people who made it all happen. This heartfelt portrayal offered a rare window into a lifestyle often overlooked on mainstream television. The farm itself served as a breathtaking backdrop, an expansive, scenic property nestled in the rolling hills of Yorkshire. With endless green fields, rustic stone cottages, and grazing animals, the setting had a timeless quality. It evoked a sense of peace and connection to nature that drew viewers in and held their attention. At the heart of the series was the Owen family, and Amanda quickly emerged as its central figure. Her practical attitude, strength, and dedication made her the natural anchor of the show. As a mother, wife, and shepherdess, Amanda carried much of the responsibility on her shoulders, and her calm yet determined presence resonated with audiences. Yet, it wasn't just Amanda who caught the public's attention. Viewers became deeply invested in her children and the relationships within the family. Each child, from the oldest to the youngest, contributed to life on the farm, whether by completing chores, caring for animals, or simply being part of the daily routine. Their unity and teamwork became one of the most compelling aspects of the show, highlighting a lifestyle rooted in shared effort and strong family bonds. From the beginning, it was clear that the Owen family's world was unlike anything most reality TV offered. The show was raw, real, and unscripted, eschewing glamour and polish for authenticity. The family didn't hide the tough parts of farm life, including animal illnesses and unpredictable weather. Instead, the show provided an honest portrayal of the day-to-day realities of working the land, which endeared it even more to its audience. As time passed, the show built a loyal following. Viewers not only enjoyed watching the Owens tend to their land and livestock but also grew emotionally connected to the family. The children matured on screen, developing their identities while taking on more responsibility on the farm. This evolution made the series much more than a farming show. It became a story about family, perseverance, and living a life that many could only imagine. However, with success came unseen challenges. Life on the Owen farm was not always as idyllic as it seemed. Off-camera, the family faced personal tensions, heavy workloads, and emotional stress that were often kept private. Amanda had to balance her public persona with the unrelenting demands of farm life and motherhood, an exhausting task that required constant focus and resilience. Behind the scenes, the daily grind of running the farm was grueling. While the show portrayed the beauty and simplicity of rural life, the reality was far more demanding. The farm required endless maintenance, mending fences, repairing machinery, and ensuring the animals were healthy and fed. Winter months were particularly harsh, with the family braving freezing temperatures and snow to care for their livestock. Every day brought new physical and mental challenges. For Amanda, maintaining the farm also meant fulfilling her role as a mother and homemaker. Though she appeared composed on screen, she often juggled multiple duties at once, preparing meals, tending animals, fixing broken tools, and guiding her children. She worked tirelessly to instill in them the same strong work ethic that she embodied. While the show highlighted their successes, it didn't always reflect the sheer effort and fatigue behind each accomplishment. Even when the cameras stopped rolling, the work continued. Amanda often started her day before dawn, enduring the early morning chill with a long list of tasks ahead. Her children also joined in, their responsibilities growing with age. The older ones took on more of the physical farm work, while the younger children learned through play and observation. These intimate family moments were featured in the show, but the toll of such a lifestyle, both emotionally and physically, was often left unseen. Farming is frequently romanticized, yet the reality is far less glamorous. There's little time for rest, and the pressure to keep the farm running is constant. The weather plays a pivotal role. Unexpected storms or poor crop yields mean extra hours and stress. During hard times, Amanda had to rally her family and stay strong, all while maintaining the appearance of harmony and success. The show did address some of the more difficult times, such as the loss of animals or the damage caused by severe weather. These moments required tough decisions and emotional strength. Still, the series tended to emphasize the family's endurance and optimism, often glossing over the more painful or chaotic aspects of their journey. Life behind the scenes wasn't always as idyllic as it appeared on camera. Amanda often faced personal challenges that viewers didn't see, including the emotional strain that farming placed on her marriage. While the show presented Amanda and her husband Clive as a united team, the truth was more complicated. Running a farm, raising a large family, and maintaining a marriage all at once came with significant stress. Amanda felt the pressure, and it showed. Alongside their private struggles, the family had to deal with the constant presence of reality TV cameras. Every moment, whether joyful or difficult, was captured, leaving little room for privacy. The spotlight never truly dimmed, even when filming stopped, which eventually compelled Amanda to be more open about the reality of their family life. The show Yorkshire Farm gave audiences a charming glimpse into the Owens' rural life, but it often omitted the more personal hardships that Amanda and her family endured while keeping the farm going. Farm life is unpredictable, and Amanda faced constant challenges that the cameras couldn't fully capture. A major difficulty was maintaining a sense of balance, managing the day-to-day farm operations while also trying to provide a stable home for her growing children. As they matured, the kids needed more of her attention, and Amanda had to juggle their education, extracurricular activities, and emotional needs with the never-ending demands of the farm. The children, once young and easy to manage, were now entering adolescence and adulthood, requiring Amanda to adapt her parenting approach to meet this new stage of life. These pressures inevitably began to take a toll on Amanda's marriage. Though she and Clive worked side by side and presented a strong partnership on the show, their relationship was far from perfect. Like many couples, they faced their own issues, which were intensified by the unique stresses of farming and being in the public eye. The isolation, relentless work, and physical exhaustion wore them down over time. While audiences saw brief glimpses of tension, they didn't see the deeper struggles that threatened the foundation of their relationship. The constant need to collaborate on the farm left little time or energy to focus on their marriage, and that emotional disconnect gradually became harder to ignore. Another significant challenge came from their exposure to public life. Signing up for a reality show brought a level of scrutiny Amanda hadn't expected. The cameras captured both the joys and hardships of their lifestyle, laying bare every mistake, misstep, and difficult decision. While many fans supported the Owens, there were always critics quick to judge their farming choices or family dynamics. As the show grew in popularity, Amanda had to learn how to cope with public criticism, which only got tougher over time. People, often unfamiliar with farm life, voiced opinions on everything from their parenting to their agricultural methods. The constant attention made it increasingly difficult to protect their private lives, and Amanda and Clive began to feel isolated under the unrelenting gaze of the public. Despite all these challenges, Amanda remained a pillar of strength on the farm, working tirelessly to keep things running. But emotionally, the weight was becoming evident. She often emphasized the importance of resilience and staying strong for her family, yet privately, she struggled with doubts. Was she doing enough? Were the sacrifices they were making for the farm and the show sustainable, or were they exacting a price too steep to recover from? As Yorkshire Farm gained more viewers, the pressure on Amanda, Clive, and their children increased dramatically. What began as a modest, quiet farm life evolved into a whirlwind of public attention and growing expectations. Though audiences were charmed by the scenic countryside and the family's lifestyle, the truth behind the camera was far more complex. The rising tension in their private life could no longer be ignored. Amanda, though calm and composed on screen, was beginning to feel the cracks beneath the surface. Their lives had become a public spectacle, and every decision, whether personal or professional, was subject to scrutiny. The farm, once a place of peace and purpose, now felt invaded by the ever-present demands of reality TV. Amanda, once the face of the farm, was increasingly overwhelmed by the relentless pressure. Fame brought with it a sense of responsibility she hadn't anticipated. As the family's life became more exposed, they felt their privacy slipping away. Every choice, every parenting moment, every farming decision was dissected, often by people far removed from rural life. Clive, too, began to feel the strain. Although he originally supported the show, the public spotlight gradually wore him down. A quiet and reserved man by nature, Clive became a reluctant public figure. Being filmed constantly took its toll, and the farm, once his refuge, became a stage for millions of viewers. Their children also began to feel the impact. As they got older, they developed their own identities and naturally craved more independence. However, growing up in front of a camera crew was far from easy. What began as innocent portrayals of farm life turned into a larger, more complicated narrative that placed even the youngest family members in the public eye. The older children, in particular, struggled with the reality of coming of age under constant observation, which added another layer of difficulty to an already complex family dynamic. The constant filming and lack of privacy eventually became a major issue. Some of the children began to express their discomfort with always being on camera. As time went on, the pressure of it all led to rising tensions between Amanda and Clive. Although they were both deeply committed to the farm, they started to clash more often. The combined stress of producing a reality TV show and managing the daily operations of a working farm was straining their relationship. Amanda found herself burdened with the responsibility of keeping the farm going while also upholding the carefully curated public image they had built. Meanwhile, Clive grew more frustrated with the ever-present cameras and the unrealistic expectations placed on their family. Their disagreements became increasingly frequent, making it clear that the pressures of the show were beginning to damage their relationship. Amanda started to recognize just how much the show was affecting her family. The harder she tried to keep things together, the more it felt like she was losing control. The mental and physical strain began taking a toll on her well-being. The first major shock came when Amanda and Clive decided to separate, but that was only the beginning. After spending years under the relentless gaze of the public and the constant scrutiny of reality television, Amanda Owen came to a turning point. She was ready to make a decision that would change everything. The version of their lives shown on television only told part of the story. Beneath the surface was a more complex reality that Amanda could no longer keep hidden. For a long time, she had presented an image of a hard-working, heartwarming rural life. But the pressure to maintain that illusion had become overwhelming. The ongoing tensions with Clive, the never-ending filming schedule, and the challenge of juggling private and public life had all become too much. Amanda reached her breaking point. At 50, she finally opened up about the truth behind Our Yorkshire Farm. "I can't hide this anymore," she said. "Not from the fans, and certainly not from myself." She realized the life shown on screen didn't reflect the full truth of her reality. It was time to confront that truth, not just for her own sake, but for her family and the many fans who had supported them. Amanda's decision to speak out was driven by more than just the stress of filming. It was also about protecting her family from further harm. The constant public attention had damaged her relationship with Clive, and the children, too, were feeling the pressure. What once had been a peaceful life on a Yorkshire farm had transformed into an existence lived under the microscope. Every move was watched, every choice judged. Amanda understood that continuing like this wasn't sustainable. Something had to give. Privately, Amanda had already started distancing herself from the public side of their life. She began turning down interviews and making fewer public appearances, hoping to reclaim time and space for her family and the farm, without cameras following their every move. Still, stepping away from the show wasn't easy. The producers and network had a significant investment in the Owen family, and the success of Our Yorkshire Farm depended on their continued participation. But Amanda had made her decision. She had reached her limit. It was time to regain control over her life. She eventually released a public statement confirming that she and Clive had decided to step back from the show. It wasn't a choice they made lightly, but it was necessary for their well-being. The pressure of reality TV, combined with the toll it had taken on their personal lives, had become too heavy to bear. Amanda acknowledged that their family had faced many challenges in recent years, and stepping away was the best path forward. News of their decision sent shockwaves through the media. Fans were devastated to hear that the Owens would no longer appear on their screens. However, many expressed support and appreciation for Amanda's honesty and strength. Reactions were mixed, disappointment over the end of a beloved show, but also admiration for Amanda's choice to prioritize her family. This was never about fame or money for her, it was about taking back their lives. Leaving the show wasn't just a career decision, it was about rediscovering what truly mattered. The focus now shifted back to the farm, the animals, and the quiet life they had originally set out to live. Life after the show. Amanda Owen's decision to walk away from Our Yorkshire Farm marked more than just the end of a popular television series. It sparked a broader conversation about the costs of fame, the complexities of rural living, and the importance of staying true to oneself. For years, the Owens had been at the heart of one of Britain's most cherished rural documentaries. But behind the picturesque scenes of rolling hills and bustling family life was an increasing burden brought on by fame and visibility. Amanda's departure wasn't simply a farewell, it was the beginning of a new chapter. This next phase would be quieter, more private, and far more authentic. In 2022, Channel 5 confirmed that the show would not be returning after Amanda and Clive's separation, which came after 22 years of marriage. Though fans were saddened, Amanda didn't disappear from public view altogether. She redirected her attention to her family and farm, occasionally sharing snapshots of everyday life on social media. These posts offered a simpler, unfiltered glimpse into their world, without the interference of a production crew. However, leaving the show came with real challenges. Our Yorkshire Farm had become more than just entertainment, it was a source of income, stability, and identity. Stepping away meant that Amanda and Clive had to adapt. Although their marriage had ended, they remained committed to co-parenting and maintaining a sense of stability for their 9 children. The absence of cameras brought the children a long overdue sense of privacy and a chance to grow up away from public scrutiny. But their story didn't end there. In 2024, Amanda and Clive quietly returned to television with a new Channel 4 series titled Our Farm Next Door, Amanda, Clive, and Kids. This wasn't a traditional comeback. The new show centered on the renovation of a neglected farmhouse called Auntie John's and portrayed a more honest depiction of their lives after marriage, focused on co-parenting and adapting as a family. Meanwhile, their son Reuben launched his own series, Reuben, Life in the Dales, which followed his journey into adulthood and entrepreneurship. Even though they were no longer the central figures in a headline-making show, the Owens family continued to capture the public's interest, this time on their own terms. Amanda's decision to step away wasn't forced. She left because she wanted something more meaningful. A life where the farm, not the cameras, came first. Now that the spotlight has dimmed, it's clear Amanda's story is far from over. It's simply taken a new direction. Her voice and her choices continue to resonate, quietly, powerfully, and with a clarity that only comes from living authentically. Did you enjoy the show? Share your thoughts in the comments below.